It's nice and quiet here. Not too cold either. Don't think I've been able to sit and relax like this in a long time. My eyes feel so heavy. Must be more tired than I thought. Rean? Looks like he fell asleep. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. He must be exhausted after Oroc's sport. In that case, I think I know what happened here. Must have fallen asleep. On something nice and comfy, no less. Yep. Hello there, Sleepyhead. Emma? Whoa. Emma? Why was I on your lap? Did you sleep well? Best sleep of my life. Don't change the subject. Well, let me apologize. I really didn't expect to end up sleeping on your lap like that. I'm the one who put you there in the first place, so no need to think about apologizing. I couldn't leave you to sleep on a cold, hard bench after all. One of my duties as a witch is to support you. Just think of this as another form of support. You know, I've noticed, like, in anime and video games from Japan, that sleeping on a bench or whatever with your head on a girl's lap is like this huge thing. It shows up all the time, right? It's a trope over there. But I've always wondered, is it a trope because it's something that actually does happen, and only, you know, if you're in a real relationship with someone, like it's a real genuine thing? Or is it one of those things where it's like, because the way their culture is a little more, I gotta be careful how I phrase this, romantically they are actually more reserved. Sexually they're not, if that makes sense. Like, they're a little, actually, like, sexually they're actually a little more lewd, I think, than, you know, Europe and America. And I don't think people recognize that, but I think, but I mean, they have, you know, I don't want to get into it. Sexually they're a little more lewd, but romantically they're much more reserved. Like kissing and hand holding and sleeping with your head on a girl's lap and dating, like these are things that are much more, they're almost put up on a pedestal in a way. They're so, they're just like held up to this like standard in an odd way that I almost wonder, like, if this isn't one of those things where it's like it happens so rarely that that deep down everybody, whether you're a guy or a girl, this is one of those things where it's like you kind of dream that like one day you'll be able to do this. Like one day, if you're a girl, like you're like, one day I'll have a boyfriend that I care about so much that I'll be okay with him sleeping with his head on my lap in public, and it'll be a little embarrassing, but it'll be so wonderful, right? Or if you're a guy, you're like, one day I'll actually be able to rest my head on a girl's lap and take comfort in that and feel that close and intimate with her. Like, or is it a thing where like it never happens ever? Like you don't ever see this, like this is not real, but the idea of it is so romanticized and so elegant that everybody kind of dreams about it, right? Like it could be a little bit of both, I don't know. It is like a very interesting, it's something I've always kind of pondered when I watch anime and play games where they have these moments. Like, is it because it is something that, either way, the bottom line is it's definitely something that is, you know, romantic and romanticized to an elevated point where it does become a bit of a trope, but it's such an interesting one to me. It's such an, you never would watch, you know, anything from America and see this as like a trope, but it's all over the place over there. So it's interesting. It's one of those cultural differences that intrigues me a lot. That's kind of a stretch, Emma. I would appreciate it if you let me do this much for you at least. It's all thanks to both you and Balamar that Bereahard's regained peace. In fact, I believe we've managed to come as far as we have thanks to your efforts. I don't know about that. You're forgetting that I had all of you. I've been able to push myself through all of this only thanks to the people who choose to stick by me. Besides, I never would have come across Valimar in the first place if it weren't for your guidance, and your cat coercing my sister into putting herself in danger. You think that much of us, Rean? Well, yeah. We've still got a long road ahead of us, right? That road will eventually lead us to Crow and Vita. So, sorry, but you're still stuck with us, Emma. We need your support now more than ever. I can live with that. I'll do everything in my power to help, both as your friend and as your class president. This is Starbridge, right? Is there a reason you bought that bouquet, Machias? It's my way of paying my respects. This lake flows towards Celtic, so I guess here will do. It's for the market manager, isn't it? Well, yes. I owe him a lot, after all. It's because of him that we were able to avoid being noticed by the provincial army during our time in Celtic. I don't think Class VII ever would have been reunited if it weren't for his help. It's frustrating, knowing that we'll never be able to pay him back. This is the least I can do for him. Machias. It was the anniversary of my cousin's death the other day, too, but I wasn't able to visit her grave. I couldn't with how things are at the moment, but it's the least I can do for her, too. I have to pause here and point out who he's talking about, because it's been a long time. When we go to Heimdall in the first game, there's a point where we go to Machias' house, and he tells us the story of how he didn't know his mom, but he had a cousin, his dad's sister, or no, I don't know. I think she was just a cousin, but she was kind of like an older sister / mom to him. And the reason that he hated nobility for the longest time was because she fell in love with the noble, and everybody was happy, but then the noble's parents put pressure on him to marry another noble and not her. And so he offered her to be his mistress instead of his wife, and it broke her heart, and she ended up killing herself. And he and his dad blamed not just the noble, but all nobility's style. Like the fact that they would be so they were so like focused on their son marrying another noble because that's the noble thing to do, like the culture, that it took away, you know, their family member that they loved. And so they blame him, but they also blame culture of nobility in general, the hierarchy and stuff. So that's why Machias was at the beginning of the game or at the beginning of the series was so anti-nobility in general, and why he still does to a degree hold a grudge towards nobility, though he has definitely eased up on that in the second game much more. But that's who he's talking about, is his cousin, that girl from that he told the story about in the first game. Oh, was it? What exactly are you planning to do with the bouquet? Gaius taught me about a Nord way of paying respect to the dead that I wanted to try. They say that by sending a bouquet down a river, your feelings will reach those that have departed. This is my way of swearing an oath to both of them, that we'll make it through this war no matter what. That I'll work towards turning Erebonia into a country where the innocent have no need to suffer anymore. If only. Changing an entire country sounds impossible, but you know what, Machias? Part of me feels like we could pull it off. If we can make it through this, there's no limit to what we can do, what we can change. You really think so? I'm glad you feel the same as I do. I'm sure your cousin and the market manager are watching over us too. So let's make sure not to disappoint them. I wouldn't dream of it. Watch me, you two. With Class 7 by my side, I'll make sure to fulfill this vow I've given. Rean and Machias stood in respectful silence as they watched the bouquet float into the distance. I'm not gonna lie, I would have really liked to see a little cutscene where they showed the flowers floating away. Once it was completely out of view, they walked back to Breahard. Woo! This hard liquor bites back. Gotta pace myself better. Can't chug them because they're too strong. I'm 3 sheets to the wind before I know it. It's better than nothing, but I'll take a good beer or cider any day. I'm struggling with this cocktail personally. Feels like I get drunk from it even though there's no alcohol in it. Well, hey, that's just one of the appeals of drinking. I'll make sure to teach you how to savor it once you're old enough. Same way both my superior and my friend did for me back in the day. Was that back when you were a part of the Northern Jaegers? Yep. Granted, they both kicked the bucket a long time ago. Oh, sorry. Wonder if that's who she buys drinks for in the first game. This operation brought back a lot of memories. Some of them bad, but plenty of good ones too. Getting by back then was a real struggle. Felt like no matter what we did, nothing ever got any better. You came from North Umbria, right? Didn't you? Seems like life there was a lot more brutal than I could have ever imagined. Would you mind if I asked just when you decided to join the Corps? Couldn't tell you exactly when. It felt like as soon as I knew what was going on around me, I had a gun in my hands. Not like there was much else you could do to earn a living around there. They say it was a nice place till the North Umbrian disaster struck around 20 or so years ago. I only go back once every few years now, mainly to pay my respects. I see. It was the kind of place where death would follow you wherever you went, really. And I wasn't any exception to that. I've lost many people who were important to me. One day they were there, the next they were gone. It wasn't until around 6 years ago that Beatrix, well, Colonel Beatrix back then, saved me. After that, I cut all my ties and headed down the path of becoming a bracer. You all know the rest after that. I guess we do. I don't even know what to say. I can't imagine leading a life like that. Yes, indeed. You won't find many heroines as tragic as me. But, well, what happened at Aurochs Fort made me realize something. Turns out I hadn't completely cut my ties to that place. Crossing blades with old comrades was more painful than I expected. Maybe it's selfish of me to say, but I wish it weren't. Guess this just shows that I've still got a long way to go as an instructor. There's still so much I want to teach you so you can make it through all of this, but I probably wasn't cut out for the job to begin with, you know? I have to respectfully disagree with you there, instructor. We've learned a lot from you, both individually and as a class. Things that you didn't specifically try to teach us either. We learned those simply through observing your actions. Like what? Take what happened at Aurochs Fort. Your actions taught us that fighting for the people and country you love can be painful at times. We saw that in your willingness to cross blades with those you once knew. You showed us what it means to be truly determined. At least that's what I got out of it. And I'm certain we'll one day have to show that very same determination. Huh. That's why we'd like you to continue teaching us from here on out. In fact, we need you to. I can't see us taking back Thors without your experience and guidance, let alone getting through to Crow. Wow, look at you, Rean. The teachers become the student. Talk about cliches. I get it though. If you're that insistent, then I'll make sure you all get the best education possible. As your instructor and as your comrade. So, the entirety of the first two games is really on Eastern Erebonia, and I don't actually know where Northumbria is. I'm guessing it's in the north, but like Nord is in the north. So is it like more north, or is it like north and west, or is it actually part of Calvard, which is the kingdom to the north that our country butts heads with a lot of times, like there are our rivals, right? Actually, I'm not sure if Calvard's to the north or if it's more to the east. Now I think about it, because it also touches with Crossbell, so it's probably to the east. So I don't know where Northumbria is, right? But I definitely feel like in 3 and 4, I really hope, I have to imagine that we do, but I really hope we go to the west, and in terms also go to some other regions like Northumbria. I'd love to see that area after they introduce it with Sarah. So, but we'll see. I don't want to sound pushy here, but, well, if you have something on your mind, Toa, I'm more than willing to listen. I realize that I might not be able to offer any real help, but you've done so much for everyone, and me personally, both at Thor's and on the Courageous. That's why I want to do whatever I can for you in return. That's really sweet of you, Rean. Thanks. To tell the truth, I'm not really sure if I'm the best fit for the Courageous Captain anymore. Part of me wishes I declined back when Viscount Arced asked me. Can I ask why? Well, we managed to set Berehard free and have Duke Alberea arrested, right? But when you think about it, that won't do much to ease the pain for those in Celtic. It won't bring back those that we've lost either. And it's not just that. Think back to when Fiona was taken hostage, or what happened with Angie. In the end, I just stood there uselessly waiting for you guys to solve everything. All while having the Courageous at our disposal, too. That's why I can't help but wonder what a capable captain would have been able to accomplish. Have you been bottling this stuff up all of this time? Sorry for unloading on you. I promised myself I'd become a much stronger person, and yet here I am fretting over every little thing. I'm really not suited to be your captain at all, am I? Whew. Thanks for getting it back for me, but still. Trust me when I say that your worries couldn't be further from the truth. I can't think of a single person more suited to be our captain than you. But, Rean, in the end, we're still students. We don't have the kind of experience Prince Olibert and Viscount Arced do. There's no way anyone expects you to be able to do what they can. But despite that, you took it upon yourself to accept such a crucial position in Viscount Arced's place. You're doing everything you can to fulfill that role, even when you're just a student. Seeing you work like that is what's inspired all of us, you know? We wouldn't be the same team without you. That's not true. Huh? I'm certain that everything we've done so far is bringing us one step closer to taking back our school. Accomplishing that will probably be our biggest challenge yet, though. And that's exactly why we need you. Having you alongside us is the greatest motivation we could ever ask for. Of course, we have no intention of letting this be one-sided. We'll be there for you as much as you are for us. You mean it, Rean? Boy, you're awfully convincing, huh? You're right. We should be using our worries as a means to better ourselves, shouldn't we? I'm such a dummy for forgetting something as simple as that. Hey, we all have our moments. It won't be long now until we can finally take back floors. We're gonna go all out and make it a reality, right? Right. P, what's going on? Why are you sitting here wearing only one sock? The sole of one of my boots came off while I was walking, and now my foot kinda hurts. So I'm taking a break. Well, after all those boots have been through, I can't really blame them for giving up on the ghost like that. Is your foot gonna be okay? Once I've rested a bit, sure. I'll get the boot fixed up after that. You could just keep walking. Wait, how does she think she's going to get to the tailor without footwear? Is she just gonna roll down this hill? Okay, as funny as that is, let's be honest. She can walk barefoot. Like, come on. I know what's gonna happen here, and I get it, it's cute, but come on. Okay, foot's feeling better now. Off we go. Hold up, P. You're not actually planning on walking there with your foot like that, are you? Might as well. I'm used to this kind of stuff anyway. Well, maybe so, but you still shouldn't be walking around on it like that. What if you step on something sharp on the way? What do you want me to do then? I guess I'll be the gallant knight here. Yep. So, last episode we had the whole like Valimar makeout session. I guess this episode, if you're into it, we've got foot fetish. So, here we go. What's up? Did it start hurting again? I'm fine. Just kind of amazed, really. I didn't think you were strong enough to carry me all the way down here, Rean, because you're such a big pansy boy. Don't think anyone else would have offered a piggyback ride in that situation. Huh? Don't worry about it. Into the store we go, my steed. Sorry, but the Pony Express stops here. Upon reaching the tailor, Rean asked them to fix up Bee's shoe for her. They were told it would be a quick process, so they had to look around the store in the meantime. Oh hey, they've got Stregas here. You're pretty fond of this brand, aren't you? Sure am. Seems like they've only got formal wear here, though. We would have been up for buying some new sneakers if they had any. I don't see you prancing around in formal wear anyway, to be honest. How long have you been a fan, since we're in Zephyr? I read that so wrong. How long have you been a fan since you were in Zephyr is more like it should have. Sorry about that. Yep, the boss bought me a pair for helping out with something. That was the second present he gave me, in fact. Oh, what was the first then? The name Classel. That's a present I'll never let go of either. There's no one else in the world who can give me that after all. I know how you feel. Dad welcoming me as a proper member of the Schwarzer family meant the world to me. So yeah, let's keep our appreciation for that close to our hearts. Speaking of things from the past, I was actually reminded of the boss when you were giving me that piggyback ride. Huh? He did the same for me not long after bringing me into Zephyr. Stuff like that's what made him feel like he actually was my real dad. Fee. There's something else I realized too. You remind me of the boss, but you're not actually him in the end. Just like Class VII isn't the same family that Zephyr was, even though both are important to me. I'm not the same person I was back then either. I don't want to sit around and be protected all the time anymore. Yeah, that's right. We're all in this together, Fee. Supporting each other is the obvious way to go. Yep, and I'm going to use what I learned from my old family to do just that. Thanks, Rean. Not at all.